My name is Adrian. I'm on the affirmative side, and my policy debate for today is the government should implement a law that would require producers to clearly label genetically modified foods. So my definitions that I'm presenting tonight is first, genetic engineering, which is the direct manipulation of an organism's genome or genes using biotechnology. An example of this is inserting genes or cloning of plant. And genetically modified organism, which is an organism whose genetic material has been altered using genetic engineering techniques. So BT corn, which has been modified to include pesticide in its genetic encoding. And genetically engineered seeds were first used in 1996 and quickly became the largest and most subsidized of U.S. crops. Today, most non-organic United States corn, soy, cotton, and sugar beets are GMO and provide a vast portion of sweeteners, fats, and additives used by food manufacturers. So, I believe that the government should clearly label genetically modified foods because consumers have the right to know what's in the food they eat. Labeling empowers consumers. In the case of mandatory GMO labeling, in no way GMO labeling encroaches upon individuals' rights or liberties. It empowers individuals with accurate information about their free market choice of what they're buying. And on GMO Compass frequently asked questions, labeling gives consumers the rights to choose products that were not intentionally produced from genetically modified organisms. The labels are not warnings, they are simply there to inform consumers that the food contains genetically modified ingredients. It informs consumers about foods that may cause health problems. So Brian Key of the Colorado State University Extension states that the United States Food and Drug Administration currently requires labeling of genetically modified foods if the foods have significantly different nutritional property, if it contains an allergen that consumers would not expect to be present. Labeling promotes a two-way street between consumers and industry. And the Washington Post states that labeling laws could force transparency on an industry that is dominated by large corporations. GMOs are widely unregulated. The biotech industry prevents testing. On non-GMOproject.org, patent rights linked with contracts are used to restrict access of independent researchers to commercialize GM seeds. Permission to study the patented crops is either withheld or made difficult to obtain so that research is blocked. And in cases where permission is given, the biotech companies keep the right to block publication. Not much is known about long-term effects of genetically modified foods. There aren't many researching, and it's usually voluntary and not required by law. Very few tests have been implemented, and those that have found harmful effects. So BT toxins have been found in the gastrointestinal contents of livestock feed of GM corn, and this raises concerns about the toxic and insect-resistant GM crops. And genetically modified food labeling isn't new. There are already countries that require labeling for genetically modified foods. European-wide regulations on labeling have existed since 1997 in Europe, and in 2003, the European Parliament, Commission, and the governments of member states decided on a new regulation on genetically modified food and feed. And because GMOs are unstable and experimental, they are subject to mandatory labeling in more than 60 countries around the world, including Australia, Japan, Russia, China, and all of the European Union. And the same food companies, such as Nestle, Kraft, and Hershey's, that last year poured millions of dollars into defeating the Proposition 37 ballot in California, don't use GMOs in the European food market. And my plan of action would be similar to the laws in the European Union. It would be for the government to require food labels on products containing genetically modified organisms of no more than a threshold of 1%, or if the mixture deliberately uses genetic modification. Foods that are not made from animals, such as meat, eggs, or dairy products, would not require labeling, and the labeling would be included along with the nutrition facts in the back of the packaging.